Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss, and a very special guest joins us today, the legend Doug Williams. Doug, how you doing, bud?
Doing good.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, that's probably not. You probably could be doing better things, but glad you're here.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
So we got some housekeeping things to take care of before we get into the show. First off, happy birthday, Santana.
Oh,
Yes.
Right? Happy birthday.
A year older.
birthday.
Yeah.
Big 4'5".
How old
my
are you?
party too,
I
man.
did, man. Like
Next time.
we came into the office and Tana was like, "Hey, where weren't you at the party?" And I was like, "Oh, like didn't put it on my calendar, I guess. I don't know. I just missed it."
Nah,
but-
I knew that wasn't your type of party.
But we had some apple cider there for him. We had some
I would have
for
loved to
him
come. I
drink.
would have loved to come.
It was funny. We had 3 older women there that I didn't, and they was fans. And the first thing they, where's Logan? And I
Logan,
was
yeah.
like,
Where is Logan
they
at?
saw Fred, they saw me, and they asked about
Looking
you.
for Logan.
Did Doug go?
No, that
I
wasn't
didn't
Doug's
get
type
to
of
tell
party.
you, that ain't my kind of party. They know I'm way out there in class.
Yeah. So
But Torrey Hope was there.
Tory-
What?
Yeah, Tory Hope
Torrey
showed up.
Hope was there.
how do you know
Chris
Torrey Holt?
What I played in the Pro Bowl with Tory Hope.
But I mean, like, I didn't know you were like tight like that.
No, well, we don't hang out, but he heard he was in the area. He
Okay.
heard there was something going on, and he popped up.
And those receivers.
Josh Morgan was there too.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. He comes to a lot of stuff. Josh good.
But George Norman was
Josh
there.
Norman was there also.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
We got
Josh
a
Norman.
star-studded party, man.
I had my brothers in town, so Norris.
Oh,
came.
Hope, he
nice.
had Hope Miami.
Did you have fun?
They
We had a
count.
good time, man. We had a good
I
time.
know someone else had a good time
Yeah, I did.
because I saw Fred's speech. I don't know if we can link that. I don't know if it's appropriate.
No, it was good. It was more of a hip parade, for a birthday.
What were you talking about in that thing, man?
Nothing. They just gave me the mic.
Have you
It was
seen
the middle of the night.
Have you seen it, Doug?
No, I
My
have
man's
not.
just shouting into
But
the
I can
microphone.
imagine what it was like.
It was Fred being Fred to the fullest.
Yeah, so happy birthday, Santana,
man.
Fred. That was
It was my birthday,
it was-
Yeah. Fred walked by me every 5 seconds, said, "You did your job. You did your job." So obviously, I did my job.
What were you talking about? What were you referring to?
Bringing people together.
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere. That's what you look for when somebody invites you somewhere.
Yeah.
You hate to get the invite, then you go somewhere and be like, "Hey man, I'm ready to go."
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I always give props. When I got there, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a couple hours."
I know one thing. If I got a party, I want Fred Smoot at my
Yeah, trust me.
Doug, anytime, I'll be there.
Anytime, any party.
Yeah.
All right, so after Santana's party, we also have our live show coming up. June 14th, Franklin Hall, D.C., 7 p.m. All right? We'll be
can't
giving out
wait.
free merch, right? So shirts like this
Yep.
with our faces on it. And then we will be giving out our 5 signed shirts. Look at that. All the signatures on there. Fred, look at
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah,
Tana,
most
great job. If you can't
Autograph,
see it
too.
if you're not watching on YouTube,
Yeah.
there's a shirt. That Hawk Outside with
Yes.
the 3 signatures. We've got
Gold.
5 winners. If you didn't win, that's intern Caroline's problem. So you should send an angry email to,
Yeah, you should.
to ThatHawkOutside at gmail.com. Let her know how you feel about it. Okay, so that's happening. So make sure you guys show up to that. We're really excited to meet everybody, and you guys can see the show in person. We've got a lot of really fun events planned, maybe a bake-off, maybe a thing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Still working through some of that. And then one of the reasons our guy Doug is here, just because Doug, there's no reason to have you here because you're a legend, so it's always nice to have you come in. There is an historic podcast coming out. It's called Hail Tales by Hannah Lichtenstein, and she does a great job recapping kind of the glory years of the Washington football team.
Yeah.
And the first episode, I got to listen to it ahead of time because I'm pretty cool. Jason hooked it up, just a guy, Jason. And they talk a lot about you and your journey and the team's journey leading up to that Super Bowl, which is pretty exciting.
I know Hannah. Hannah did a great job, man.
Yeah.
Believe me. She asked me questions I don't even know nothing about.
You were like, "Do I remember that? I don't know."
Yeah, and as a fan of football, it was cool to kind of get some inside baseball. Because again, that happened basically the year after I was born, so I wasn't that up on the Super Bowl.
Hey, Logan, I know I'm old.
I know. I'm sorry, but
He loves to throw that out there.
But you had a root canal the day before the game, all sorts of crazy stories. There's some crazy Dexter Manley stories in there, so it's a good time, man.
Right.
So yeah, how was that process recording that?
You know what? It was great, man. When you look back and you think about those days and the people that I played with, we talk about characters, that had character.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the best of them that had character, but they was characters.
Is there anybody in particular that stuck out to you as
Dexter Manigault always stick out to me.
Yeah.
I mean, because I enjoy watching Dexter just walk in the dressing room before a game.
Yeah.
You sit at your locker you know, you had a show. He paraded up and down, hitting on lockers and hitting on the wall. And so I knew he was going to hit on the people out there. Just watch them inside.
They was in for one, right?
They was in for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So so this show is going to kind of be not a preview of that, because that's only on the podcast that's coming out the week of July 4th, right?
Yeah.
So wherever you get your podcast, make sure you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss that, because that's going to be awesome. We're going to kind of talk about all of our football journeys. Starting with Doug, Tana, Fred, kind of talking about where we got our start and kind of walk you through our career, because we got some comments about like, hey man, we don't all know, fans don't all know like where we started and where we're going.
Yep.
So why don't we start with Doug? And I think this is very apropos. Like, what is your first memory of football that you were like, man, I'm in it?
Let me tell you my first memory. I didn't play football until I was 8th grade.
Oh, for real?
First time I ever played football, because I thought I was a heck of a baseball player, and I thought I was Pistol Pete as a basketball player.
You know who else thinks Fred thinks he's good at basketball too.
Yeah.
But Pistol Pete was at LSU at that time.
Yeah, he was.
So I was, 8th grade. I had floppy socks. I had everything. And the reason why I thought I was Pistol Pete, because I didn't play no defense, but I shot everything.
But you shot the ball.
But my first time playing football, I didn't want to play. My older brother, who was a baseball player, and he hurt his arm up at Cleveland Indians, and he couldn't play no more. Back then, you hurt the rotator cuff, you was done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he came back and became coach at my high school. He had the junior high football team and assistant football with the varsity, and he was a basketball coach. And he came to me when the head coach, Coach Bernard Lucas, bless his soul, told him that him and a guy named Bob Wilson was going to be the junior high coaches. And he said, "You're going to play quarterback." And I told him, "I'm not playing no quarterback." And he gave me an ultimatum. And the ultimatum was I either play football or I either whipped him. So I ended up playing football.
Wow.
Wait, whipped him? Is that what you just...
No, he's going to whip me.
Oh.
Yes, you know how it
Well,
goes.
all right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's how it went.
Put hands on you.
He's going to put hands on you, believe me. So
What kind of offense were you playing back then?
Man, we had a straight T.
Wing T?
So is
Straight
that's
T.
like the
quarterback with 3 backs in the backfield.
Yeah.
Hey, it was football today, man, would be obsolete. Nobody even do no stuff like we did. But it worked.
They ran into Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we ran at a high school wing tee.
Did you really?
Yeah, high school.
We didn't have a wing.
It wasn't.
We had
No, it's just straight T.
You had a straight
So
T.
it's like almost like wishbone size.
It was
like,
the
kinda
wishbone.
like
So you
where
had basically what Stonebridge run. Stonebridge had the guys on both sides.
So this is getting into some nerdy football stuff. So I'm really sorry about that. There's the single wing, which has a single wing to the one side and a blocking back, and they usually go unbalanced.
And that's 2.
And then there's the T, which is the
Wing
double
T.
wing,
Yeah.
and there's the straight T, which is what Doug played.
Yeah.
I played that in high school, and I played wing T in college.
Oh, for real?
Grambling.
So you were like a read kind of dive pitch guy?
Let me tell you something. You couldn't suspect me as a runner.
Yeah.
I didn't run no football. None. Unless it was a quarterback sneak. Other than that, I didn't run. I gave it to the tailback, fullback. We had all kind of stuff in the backfield going different ways.
Yeah, kind of like that spinner stuff.
Yeah. And in college the same way. But that's the only reason why I played football, because my older brother was a coach at this high school, and I was made to play.
I got you. So 8th grade.
8th grade.
Tana, when did you start?
That's a good story too. I didn't start until 6th grade.
Really?
I didn't start until 6th grade. Now I wanted to play football out the womb.
Oh, really?
But I think when I first discovered football or knew that I wanted to do that, my uncle was outside telling me, about the Dolphins, because where I lived at in Miami at the time, down in Liberty City, my grandmother's house sat on 6th Avenue, right before the 95 ramp, before you get on 95. And to the left of us was 79th Street. Across 79th Street was, I believe it was a Holiday Inn, big Holiday Inn hotel. And the Dolphins stayed there the night before games.
Yeah.
So, got to remind you now, I'm a kid and I'm always hearing sirens on Sunday mornings, and the ramp is literally across from my grandmother's doorstep. So I just sit on the porch like, why are these cops coming up this ramp with these buses? My uncle said, that's the Miami Dolphins. They stay at their hotel. So now every weekend I'm going out there looking for them, not to know that they have away games and home games.
Yeah.
So I timed it up one day, and I'm like, now I'm geeked because I'm seeing them on TV. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna look and see if I can see one of the guys. And if I'm not mistaken, I told Dan Marino the same story. I saw him in a car behind the bus, like he was by himself. And I waved, and he waved back. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be him."
That
one
is
day.
a really cool
I'm gonna
story.
be him one day. Like I was already into football, but I'm like when I
didn't
saw
realize that.
them
That's
acknowledge the kid out there sitting there, enamored with just them guys going up that ramp. They wait. Oh, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be in that same spot one day. And it took a while. My mom would never let me play football, so I played in the street, throw up tackles, sandlock, you name it. But by the time I got in the 6th grade, we moved to Carroll City. And that was like my little birthday gift. Oh, we gonna sign you up for football this year. And I ain't looked back.
So Doug, kind of a reluctant football player. Tana, a very willing football player.
Yeah, I was ready.
And then Fred Smoot is a...
I'm 3rd generation. All right, my great granddaddy, he toted the bean. I'm just gonna tell you like that. No, it all started with me with my uncle, which is my mother's younger brother.
Okay.
Which he wanted to play football. That's all he wanted to do. I guess it didn't work out for him. So when I was like 4 or 5 years old, he just would take me in the middle of the street and throw the ball at me as hard as he could. Like I used to just come in the house with black eyes and everything. And he just would not stop. And he was just persistent. You gonna play football. You gonna play football. And as I got older, especially when I got to junior high, I was still tiny at the time though. That was the problem. Everybody wanted me to play wide receiver and this and that. And as my skills started to grow.
Yeah, because you say tiny. How? Because you told me you were like under...
Oh, listen, when I checked into my high school, I'll never forget my high school coach asked me. They make you fill out a little card with your weight and your height on it. And I was like 5'7", 100 pounds even. And he had just seen me play basketball. So he was like, son, you don't want to just keep playing basketball? Because I don't know if you're going to be good as a football player. And I told him then, I will be the best football player you have ever coached in your life.
You know what? That's ironic because I was 9th grade. You know how tall I was in 9th grade?
Probably 6'6".
No. I was 5'5".
What?
And what?
When did your growing spurt happen?
Going into my 10th grade year.
Wow.
So
I was like the equipment manager and the trainer, in 8th grade for the varsity team.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I went to get my uniform to play varsity football, Coach Lucas said, "Little old boy, you better get on back here."
It's the same story.
No, I was 5'5". I couldn't hardly see over the center.
How tall are you right now? You're like...
I grew to 6'4". I'm 6'4". That's it. But
Jeez, that's
going
a heck of
into
a
my
growth spurt.
10th grade year,
that was
I went from 5'5" to 6 feet tall, like a little pole, skinny.
I totally understand because 9th grade I was 5'5", 5'6", and 11th grade I show back up. I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So like, when did you guys realize that you had like talent for it? Like when you're like, oh, I can be pretty good.
Wow, baseball was, like I say, was always all the way up through high school. Baseball was me.
Did you have an opportunity to get drafted in baseball, or?
Yeah, but it probably been late round.
Yeah.
It's been later round. And a guy in Baton Rouge by the name of Adolph Bird, bless his soul, used to go out and recruit for Coach Robinson at Grambling. And he came to the school one day and he said, Coach Robinson want to give you a scholarship. I had never seen Coach Robinson. He never seen me play. But this guy did all Coach Robinson recruiting. Back then, alumni could do all that.
Yeah.
So him and myself and one of my teammates, and he offered a scholarship. But when I went to Grambling, I was probably 195 pounds.
Really?
About 6'2", skinny, like a beanpole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like you're built like your son that was coaching I met him down at the Senior Bowl last year.
Yeah, he's in Atlanta now.
Yeah, but he was kind of
like
tall,
him.
lanky.
You look at him today, just like I was.
Which is crazy because I look at you now and you're like, big dude, man.
Well, I
Strong
probably
dude.
ate more back then.
So you built like a pitcher. You feel? You feel like, because I always felt like I was built like a basketball player.
My oldest brother was a pitcher, so I wanted to be like my oldest brother.
So is that when you knew like I could play? Like when you got the offer, or was it sometime later?
Yeah, my redshirt year, I watched other guys play, and I say to myself, I can do this. One guy I saw play when I was a senior in high school, Jefferson Street Joe, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at Tennessee State. And I went to a Southern University and Tennessee State game, and I was standing by the fence, and he came out, and Jefferson Street might have been 180 pounds, skinny. And I said to myself then, oh, I can do that too. And that's when I realized that I can play football at that game.
So how big were the guys, like O-linemen, when you were playing? Were they big guys?
In high school or college?
College, I'm saying.
Oh, no, I had monster, man.
Really?
Grambling. Now, let me tell you, Grambling back in the day, they had men.
Really?
Yeah, think about Buck Buchanan and Ernie Ladd and people like that.
But I know who got on y'all. Jackson State. Jackson, Mississippi.
One time.
Beat y'all one time?
I beat Walter Payton and Brazil and Slater. I beat that team.
Yeah.
I was a freshman.
And
Jackie Slater?
Jackie Slater, Robert Brazil.
Wait, they were on the same team?
Yeah.
Yes, they had 4 yellow jackets in Jackson State.
Yeah, all of them. See, they don't understand. And when you talk about the swag back in the day,
yes, that's where the players were.
It was a different kind of football.
Alabama, LSU, Mississippi, and Ole Miss got the players that used to go to Grambling Southern and Jackson State.
Yeah.
Wow, and you beat them. You beat that team.
Yeah, Walter Payton, Eddie Payton, Jackie Slater, and Robert Brazil was on the same team.
And my high school coach.
And they had a running back who played in Minnesota for the long, Ricky Young.
No kidding.
Wow.
On that same team.
Was it a close game? Did you guys get after
24-14.
Oh, okay. Got after them a little bit.
Hey, look, they was playing Grambling.
I did hear about Grambling more than I heard about their teams, but I did hear about those guys, all those players.
You talking about a coach? Talking about a coach who was there for 57 years, won 408 games.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I didn't realize Grambling was like that.
No, Grambling, the SWAC period was like that at the time.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner, when'd you know?
You know what? That's one of those questions. Like,
there has to
how
be
are you asking it? Like, because like we all thought we can play football.
So there were like,
when did it click?
When did it click that I can go
do
somewhere with this?
Yeah. So like for example, like I was in college and I had my first college game, had like 100 yards receiving. And I was like,
okay,
maybe.
Gotcha.
You know, not for sure, but like, there's a shot here.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Was there like a play in training camp when you were like?
And what I tell you like this, every level you play on, Little League, if you're one of those guys, then you feel like you can play. High school, if you one of the top guys on your team, you feel like you can play. In college, it's different because it's no longer I'm here just to play football.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's all you saw. And it's crazy the way I got into college. You know, you all know my story. I walked on. I had a track scholarship. It's kind of one of them situations where you're humble before you even get on the field because the football guys on scholarship looking at you like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So I can honestly tell you when I knew that I could play football at a high level, this is before I played in any college game, was when I laced them up to go to practice against the guys who I knew was on scholarship.
Yeah.
And when I left out of there, one of the things I was told when I was young, I don't know if it was a coach or someone always told me, make sure when you leave the field, you have those coaches. When we go on the meetings, make sure they bring your name up about something good.
Right.
And make sure your peers accept you in that same light. And I remember walking off the field the first day of training camp, and everybody was like, hey, y'all saw the number 48? You know, I was wearing 48 my first year. That shows you I was a walker.
What they thought about you.
And look, I'm putting my uniform on every day with the linebacker, so you know they were hazing me, they were doing all type of stuff to me. But I was prepared and ready for it.
Yeah.
But I would just sit and smile, knowing that, okay, I'm here. They know, you know what I mean? And before you know it, shit, week 4, you know, I was supposed to be red-shirted. They threw me in the game. My first play ever stepping on the field. I didn't know I was going to play that game. I go out and run a corner route and get a first down. First play ever playing in college football. So that was kind of like, man, I'm here. I'm here. And I never had nothing in my mind ever other than I'm going pro. Like that's from day one. So, you know, that's why I tell folks, you got to believe it. Because even if they don't believe it, even if those schools who looked over me and said I was too short, even if the Army who came out there and recruited me every week saying, you stupid boy, you going to play football, you'll be with us in a year. Even if they don't believe it, you have to believe it.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I always believed it. So it wasn't no mystery that I was going to end up here. You know what I mean?
And I'm hesitant to ask you, Fred, when you knew you were going to play, because I'm sure it was like, when I came out the womb.
I finna say, when that doctor slapped me on to make sure I was alive, I'm playing football. But no, I think my first time was, I kind of was brought to earth. Like back to I was humbled. And I was like, oh, I might can make it. Steve McNair used to throw this camp called Dream Camp in Jackson, Mississippi every year.
The guy for Tennessee.
Yes,
okay.
Steve McNair. He's a legend down south. Well, in Mississippi, where I'm from, the McNair boys is like 10 of them. Yeah. And you got to understand, they won't stop coming. It's like stepping on their bed. And he throwed this Dream Camp every year in Jackson, Mississippi. He throwed it on the field that I played my high school games on.
Okay.
I'm going to the 11th grade. Feeling good about myself.
This is after your growth spurt?
after my growth spurt. And now when they come back, Jimmy Smith is at this camp. Jerry Rice is at this camp. Like all the Mississippi boys is at this camp. And they going at the young guys. They like, yeah, no, y'all practice against us. Now, we don't want y'all to watch. So I'm going against Jimmy, and Jimmy just tossing me all over the place. All right? I'm going against Jerry, and he just riled me up. But after that, I totally did terrible. But afterward, Jimmy came to me, and Jimmy said, boy, you sticky. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Understand that you might not can check us, but you can check the guys in high school.
How old were they? How old were they when they did that?
They were just starting their NFL careers.
So they were like, could you imagine doing that?
No, I would have loved to be able to go and say that I actually practice with NFL pros.
You know, like you lined up
or
with
even
them.
was that close up. You know what I mean, to say I touched them. You know what I'm saying?
2 days they did this. So we were like, it was so much that the
that's
dudes
great.
fighting to be
That's
a part
cool.
of the camp that they got to turn the dudes down.
Wow.
So in that camp, like I said, I made a couple of
How
plays.
did you get a chance to be a part of that camp though? Because your coach,
My coach.
Okay, I got
My
you.
coach made sure like 5 or 6 of us got in the camp, just like the other high school.
Yeah.
They were like, I got to get these 3 in here and these 3.
right.
Before you know it, it's like 70 of us, and then it's like 14 pros. And we talking linemen, we talking running backs, we talking everybody. And, of course, Jerry Rice is the bell of the ball at the time.
Yeah.
But they was really working us. They wasn't out there just,
Yeah.
here, I'm here to speak to you. They was out there really like taking it to us. Like when I say taking it to us, they was burning us and talking trash to us and everything.
So Fred Smoot wasn't Fred Smoot back then. You
No,
had nothing to
I was
say.
yapping.
You was yapping.
I was yapping.
What were you saying? Like I can't. It's like so hard for me to wrap my head around. Could you imagine like Justin Jefferson was like routing high school kids up?
I couldn't.
Like,
well, I see Tyreek Hill do it.
Do it all the time.
He's kind of like,
he do it every camp, but he's having fun with it.
he's
But,
like-
But these dudes was working.
that's what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine like,
I couldn't imagine it.
like I don't know.
No, like I said, it set the bar for you.
I bet.
Because it was like, you know what? I thought I was good.
But you got to think too.
I ain't good.
You got to think too. It seemed to me, just knowing who Fred is, I'm sure that it was a bunch of knuckleheads out there that thought they can check those guys. You know what I mean? So they probably egged them on enough to say.
But they were scared to go out there. I wasn't.
Oh, you wasn't scared. There you go.
But the
Gotcha.
other thing too, you say, what if Jefferson was out there? The thing here is you got guys like McNair and Jimmy Smith and Jerry Rice back then.
Yeah.
They went back and gave back to them kids.
Yes, yes.
See, they don't do that today.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. It's,
Well, not in that way, at least.
yeah, I'm just
Right,
saying.
yeah.
But they would like to go back to that camp, Mississippi. I mean, because Walter Payton made going back to Mississippi popular.
Yep, him and
on the
Jerry.
off-season.
Yep.
Interesting.
And what Peyton used to go is run that hill all the time. So Mississippi,
Yep, him
they
and
wanted to, when Jerry Rice and Jimmy Smith showed up, the kids came out.
Is that where the hill is?
No, the hill is 2 hills, but they both by the Mississippi River. And then Mississippi, you ain't because Jerry from the Delta. Like, so they like it's a pilgrimage. Have you ran the Jerry Rice out of Walter Payton Hill? Because if you ain't ran it, you can't go to the league from Mississippi.
Have you run it?
I had to take the pilgrimage after they did me bad. After they did me bad, like I'm finna go run this.
How hard was it?
It's vertical.
Have you done it?
I did it one time.
It's vertical.
You almost got to go.
Yeah,
They used
you gotta
to have
go.
a camp, and you go up there, and everybody who's in the camp follow Walter to the hill.
Yeah, to the hill.
I ran it one time. I ain't no sense me lying. I did.
And never again.
No.
Walter come out there with them kangaroos on.
Yeah.
The headband and
he gonna take out and put that. He gonna open that little packet
Yeah,
right
the
there, and
little
put
zip
something in there, some chewing gum, and the heel is almost vertical. Like you have to
I've seen
dig.
pictures of it.
You have to
Hey,
dig.
I had me a pair of them kangaroos too. I'm proud to say I had me a pair of them kangaroos. I had
That's
the one with
wild.
the zip on the side, right on the side of it.
What about you? When did you know? Besides college.
So I basically I signed up for football in high school because my dad wanted me to have friends in high school.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm not
You was
kidding.
antisocial?
Yeah, I was very quiet. Like my whole life. So like my parents would just be like, oh, so you don't have a lot of friends, but you're gonna play a lot of sports.
Yeah.
So they signed me up because like everyone does football.
Yeah.
So I did football and I didn't know anything. So I remember the first day they said the positions like DB, linebacker, and I was like, I don't know what any of those are. So I just stood with the biggest group of people, which was like a DB. And I remember the seniors came by and were like, no way you're a DB. Because I was like 6'4", like 190. They were like, come on with the D linemen, tight ends. So I went over there with the tight ends, and that was like my first day. And then in terms of when I knew, I mean, I didn't really know. Like, I've never been a confident player, especially in high school, but I had 22 sacks my junior year.
Wow.
I broke the school record. So then I was
So
like...
did you play the wrong position in the league?
So I look at the defensive ends now, and I'm like... Probably not.
Then I'm talking about when you played. Let's just say you went up in a pass rush. You could have been a run stop. You could have been Phil Daniels.
So when I got to college, like I was playing tight end, like, and I remember the strength coach saying, "Hey, if you want to play defensive end, like I think you're probably a better 3 technique." Because like I wasn't like twitchy the way those guys are, you know. But I got a big frame. I could have been like probably 290, 300 pounds, and that just wasn't that appealing to me.
Yeah.
But when I knew I had a shot was John Embry, who was a coach here, was my tight end coach in college, and he was basically like, you know, here you're going to start as a sophomore, and I had 100 yards receiving against Utah, and I was like, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And like maybe, and then after that, like our quarterback left, or our OC left, and the offense changed, and I was like, well, maybe not because situations are changed. But worked out, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that was the moment where I was like, maybe I could do it.
So we can all agree that all of us was doubted at some point.
No doubt.
At some point in your life, somebody looked us in the face and said, "Y'all, you can't do this."
One, because I didn't want to play.
So you were thrust into greatness. They held Doug up like this.
It's funny. Like I feel that story that Doug said because like I was a soccer player, and I remember the football coach came out because I was thinking about maybe quit, like you know, focusing on that. I had a scholarship offer to play soccer, and the football coach came out my sophomore year and was like, "Man, like I will get you recruited. Just come out and play."
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you know, and like, but it's like if he had, to your point, if he hadn't seen something and pushed me, like, I wouldn't have been anywhere.
You know, it's crazy because I talk to my youngest boy about this all the time, and I can kind of honestly, you know how like when you've been around footballers, just been around athletes for a while, you can see who the late bloomers is. You can see the guys who they might not have it now, but long as they stay on it, you know. I was doubted so much that if I was weak-minded, bro,
it would never happen.
You would never know who the hell I was. I mean, I was told from the day one, boy, you ain't. I mean, every time I said I was gonna do something, boy, you ain't gonna do that. Boy, you just too smart. Boy, you just. I had coaches. Don't get me wrong. I would never forget this. This coach, I ain't gonna say his name. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Hater coach.
I had a coach that in my face told me, "Oh, your mama had one. She got one." Talking about my baby brother.
To you.
To me, all 3 of us in front of him. He's like, well, at least we can say your mama had one.
That's it right there.
I'm like, boy, you said that to the wrong person. You know, and honestly, bro, that it wasn't that he fueled my fight. I was always sure that I was gonna do something. You know what I mean? I'm his big brother. I'm the one to get him up in the morning and have him out here with me right now. This is what I want to do. You see what I'm saying? I'm running track with you because they running track with you because I started running track. You know what I mean? So that doubt stuff, man, I hear it so much, and I tell my son all the time, I say, bro, if you don't have a reason to be out here, if you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, if you waiting on somebody to tell you that, then you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be playing. You know what I mean?
You made me think about something, Tanner. I'll never forget. I was in high school. My teammate is Mr. Football in Mississippi, #1 player, like number 10 player in the nation. He signs with Florida. But I remember sitting on the sewer in my neighborhood because he's like a year older than me, and just watching all the colleges.
Sitting on the sewer?
The sewer.
I was going to ask, were you sitting on where?
On the sewer. You know how you sit on the sewer top?
Yeah, the little sewer
I know exactly what
so I'm sitting in the sewer top in the neighborhood, and I'm watching all these colleges go by. I'm watching Notre Dame. And I never forget. I'm sitting in the yard across from him when Coach Spurrier comes to see him. And when Coach get out the car, Coach, I know you see #1 on that film. Don't pass me by. You gonna have to play me.
You are so confident, man. Oh my God.
I feel like sometimes if you don't wave your hand and say,
I get you.
Hey, I can play football. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I know they all coming to see him, but I need to steal some of this light. I need to make sure they see me. And I remember Coach Spurrier grinned at me. And I said, I'd never forget that grin. And you know when I got to Mississippi State, what I had on my mind already is I want him.
That's cool. That's a cool story. So yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, how did you pick Grambling? Like, when were you like, this is the way? And then Tano, obviously Miami.
Yeah.
Grambling.
Yeah.
It's easy. It was easy back then.
Really?
Yeah. Every Sunday morning you saw Grambling on TV. Eddie Robinson. All they did was one.
Dude, that's so because it's such a different
time period.
Time. Let me tell you, man. That was an easy choice. It was only one other school I wanted to go to, and it's so fortunate. I tell my daughter this now. She's going to USC to play basketball, and I told her the only other school I wanted to play for was USC.
Really?
You know why? Jimmy Jones played quarterback back in 1969 for John McKay.
Yeah.
Black quarterback.
Yeah.
The black quarterback wasn't going to LSU.
No.
Yeah.
Mississippi, Ole Miss,
None of that.
Alabama. Not back
None of
then.
that.
You can
Nope.
forget that.
Was there? I'm sure the stigma was huge.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
that
No,
big.
it was.
That-
Yeah.
You forget about that. So it was either John McKay or Eddie Robinson. So I went to Grambling.
Did you feel pigeonholed at that time? Like, you know what?
No.
They don't want to see you shout. You just like, you know
No,
what?
I
Forget it.
thought-
I do it at Grambling.
Because let me say, I'm going to say this today, and a lot of people probably won't agree with me.
Yeah.
But we probably could have played anybody in the country.
No, I know y'all
what
could
it
because
sound-
I
that's
know
what
that
it
Jackson.
sounds like.
I remember him on y'all team.
And
Y'all
I look
team
back
was-
now, my sophomore year, we played Oregon State in Portland.
Yeah.
We beat Oregon State even if they called one back.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
beat them 19-12 in Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
You know,
And they
we-
never wanted to do that and
and we,
scare
and
y'all
we beat
again.
Hawaii twice.
Yeah.
And we beat Temple once. And we lost to Temple once.
All them
Yeah.
Power
So, I
Fives.
mean, we had players. This is during my time. I'm talking about before me.
Yeah.
Before integration ever came up, it wouldn't have been close.
Yeah.
And I can say that, and somebody might argue with me, but
They can
it's
argue
out
all they
there
want
now.
to. The truth, the proof's in the pudding.
That's right.
Yeah.
He did it.
It's unbelievable that's like the level of talent at
Oh,
Grambling.
unbelievable.
And so they were on TV when your hometown every weekend. That's who you were
No,
watching.
I had a playback. Coach Rob had a playback,
Playback.
every Sunday morning, all across the country. Oldsmobile used to sponsor it.
No kidding.
Oh, and go. I think it should
He
be
was-
one
he was a
or two of them on,
legendary
coach.
on,
Really?
on,
He was a
on
legendary coach.
YouTube
Yeah.
today. You go and say Eddie Robinson Oldsmobile.
I need to go
probably
check that out
come
today.
up.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So that's a great story. And then Tana, Miami. You said
Yeah.
you walked on, right?
Yeah, so you know it's strange because people look at it and be like, "Damn, boy, you got lucky." But when I look at it, the way I look at it, even though Miami was the walk-on thing for me,
Did you have any other offers?
I had Western Michigan, I had Utah, I had Eastern Michigan. I went to Western and Eastern Michigan.
Would you have been there with Antonio Brown? Or was that after?
No,
I'm
that
way
was
before.
before. He
I'm
was
way
before.
before him. And I also had Pittsburgh. That was in the Big East also. Pittsburgh wanted me and a guy. If I would have signed to Pittsburgh, they was going to take our safety, who was a hard-hitting safety.
Yeah.
He ended up going to the MAC. And I think it bothered him a little. He's like, damn, Tanner, you would have went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm not thinking about nobody but me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're, what are you, 18?
So,
Yeah.
so I got a chance to go to Western Michigan. And the only reason Miami, ended up happening for me because, see, Miami told me before I even got recruited for football that, hey, we want you for track. I got a call from the football recruiter, Coach Shannon, like, hey, I came to see y'all running back and your safety. And all the guys at UM who grew up in your neighborhood, we had a guy named Rod Mack and we had a guy named Nate Webster. Both of these guys linebackers. I grew up with Nate Webster in Liberty City, and I grew up with Rod Mack in my neighborhood that I was living in now in Carroll City. And Rod Mack knew how we play football. They come get me out of the house to play football, all the older guys.
Yeah.
So Rod Mack, 4 years older than me, and he's at UM already like, man, go get Santana
No
Moss.
kidding.
Go get Santana Moss. Like, he can play. Carroll City don't throw the football, but he can play football. So he come watch a game, and he brings their receiver coach, Curtis Johnson. CJ just told me this story. CJ say, man, Carroll City wasn't throwing the ball, but in the warm-ups, he watched my warm-ups. And he say, he watched my routes, and he watched how explosive I was. He say, oh, yeah, I like him. If he gonna walk on, if we gonna let him come in for track, I want him to walk on our team. So when they told me the whole, hey, track team already giving you a full ride, you can just walk on with us. I hung up the phone. I take my visit to Western Michigan. Let's just say that story didn't end well. I come back home with a slit wrist with stitches.
Well, you going out?
Had too much fun.
Sound like a college night.
And Western Michigan was willing to make me like anybody else would have offered their top five-star wide receiver. They wanted me. They was like, man, look, whatever it takes to get you. If you got a girlfriend, we'll bring her too. Like, that's how big I was for Western Michigan. Their coach saw everything that these other coaches didn't see. And if it was like a better situation far as weather-wise and closer to home,
you would have gone.
That would have been something that I would have easily said yeah to. But with the circumstances of like, man, I saw 10 inches of snow when I went on that visit. I'm like, bro, I never saw snow in my life.
Yeah.
That was my first
you saw
visit.
a lot of snow
and I saw enough snow for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I told my homeboy Bo, Bo well, me, Bo, and our running back, we went on the visit together. All us committed. When I got home, I changed my mind. I was like,
Not going.
nope.
Never again.
And Miami called me again. I was waiting for them to call. I said, please, man, I done hung up the phone on Miami. I hope they call me again. And they called me again. And Coach Shannon like, boy, listen here, knucklehead. I ain't saying you can leave track alone once you walk on. We just want to get you in there because they say, if you're good enough, you'll make the team.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, the whole ordeal was supposed to be for a whole year. I posted this red shirt that first year, which it didn't happen. Week 4 of the season, when our guys couldn't play, they's like, we moving you up to a scholarship.
In your hometown, was Miami like Grambling was for Doug? Like everyone wanted to go to Miami?
So, no, come Florida.
Florida State.
Oh,
Florida
sorry,
State, Florida, and Miami.
Yeah.
You could pick your poison. Like
Is that one of those three?
Yeah. And me being a Miami guy, true, I rooted for all 3 of them. But I went to Carroll City Senior High. And if you know Carroll City, if you ever down there, we got that chant.
Oh, it's
Seminoles.
If he's one of those guys that had come along my time, he probably would have been at Jackson State.
no kidding.
And he probably would have been at Florida A&M or Bethune-Cookman.
Really?
Yeah. So back in them days, as far as black college wise, FAMU was our thing.
Yeah.
And that was in Tallahassee too with Florida State. So Florida State was really my choice to go to. Like I would have picked Florida State over all
Because
3 of those
of,
schools just because of the chant. Deion Sanders was somebody who I admired, and then I also admired Charlie Ward and Warwick Dunn. Like when I was in high school, I went to the national championship game. My cousin, Kendra, she's up here now. She's a judge. She got sworn in. Remember I told you? She got sworn in last year, I believe. Last year, Kendra Briggs. She's a judge here in DC, Washington DC. She was a student at Florida State at the time. I was a 9th grader. I remember like it was yesterday. She gave me the experience of a lifetime. She called home and said, hey, we made it to the national championship. I got a ticket for you, Tan. I was in heaven. She brought me to the game with her.
That's cool.
After the game, they took me to Charlie Ward and Warwick Dunn room.
Yeah.
And I came back to high school like, boy, I'm gonna beat them guys one day.
That's cool.
Like it was just something that like now that I look back on it, it was memories like that is what drives
magical.
us to go be who we are.
Because it becomes reality.
Yeah.
Like it become reality. I remember coming out of high school, the first thing everybody said to me, you got a red shirt.
Yeah.
Because I was so skinny.
Was it always Mississippi State for you though?
No, because I signed with Ole Miss out of high school.
What?
That's the thing about here go the thing about
It's crazy because you're such a bulldog now.
Yeah. I signed with Ole Miss out of high school because of Tuberville. I went to a camp up there. Me, Deuce McAllister, Ken Lucas, Terrence Metcalf, this DK Data. All of us went to this Ole Miss camp and kind of made a bond. You know how you make a bond? We all gonna come here.
Yeah.
But Tuberville was just hell bent on. He like, you gonna have to red shirt. I don't want a red shirt. I need to play football. Like I ain't gonna get better watching people play football. I need to play football. So he was like, nah, you gonna red shirt here. So I was like, all right, no problem. So then my aunt was like, if you go to Ole Miss, I ain't coming to no game. So I was like, well, I guess I can get them over there. And then so I was like, you know what? Oh no, because my head coach played for Jackson State when Walter played, and my high school is walking distance from Jackson State. So he wanted all us to go to Jackson State. So I was like, no, I ain't gonna do what he want either. I'm gonna go to Alcorn. So I got that. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the SWAC. I talked to the Alcorn coach. He's like, no, ain't gonna be no red shirt in here. Matter of fact, you can play whatever you want to play. So I like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Alcorn. And I never forget it. My teammate, he gonna be like, nah, man, I'm going to junior college. Just push the reset button. He like, man, if you want to play and just keep on playing, come on, win a national championship right quick. So I like, all right, I'll do that. I went to Hines Community College, won a national championship. I was the #1 DB in junior college. Left there, and now. Everybody, here come everybody now. And
How many offers did you have?
leaving junior college?
Yeah.
Ooh, I had maybe 17, 16.
So let me get this straight though, because this is rare. Because guys like myself, when we hear junior college, we like, damn, I got to go that route.
Yeah.
You was willing to go to junior college?
I wanted, and he had a scholarship.
I'm like, boy,
like,
you
and he was like, and you were like,
But because I knew this.
Nah, don't want that.
Because I weighed my options. I said, all right, do I want to be stuck at Alcorn? Just because I'm a play freshman, do I just want to say, you know what, I could play here and then get recruited all over again?
But you had a scholarship to Ole Miss too, right? Or
yeah, but they wanted me to red shirt.
Oh, they wanted
so
you to red shirt.
and that was
Probably
non-negotiable for me at the time. I did not want a red shirt, but I understood where it was coming from.
So now we can say the Fred Smoot kicked in when he heard the red shirt. Oh no, I need to go out there and play.
No.
So he want to go play junior college. And
guess what? I went to junior college, won that national championship. Now I'm all over the place, and then. Now I got to go through my recruiting again, and that's how I chose Mississippi State with Coach Sherrill, because I knew I couldn't choose Ole Miss.
Yeah,
my cousin had just left LSU, and I'm like, you know what? Auburn, because Tuberville had left Ole Miss and went to Auburn. So now he like, come to Auburn. Let's do this. I was like, no, I hate you. I see you. I see you on Saturday and the rest of y'all. And that's how I end up at Mississippi State.
Wow.
Mississippi State, best decision I ever
That
made.
boy said, I'm going to junior college.
I gotta push the reset button.
But I'm just saying, like, for you to have that awareness about yourself,
I know.
because
It's crazy.
most of us so young, we don't even want to make that decision. I mean, to us, that's like
A setback.
a setback.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had guys like, hey man, you probably ain't gonna make it, to no D1.
Yeah.
So
Go to junior college.
Go to junior
Right.
college or go to the Army.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
keep telling you, kept telling you. But I looked at junior college like high school to me. I'm like, man, it's high school all over again. Like you gotta share uniforms. You out there playing them dirt piles. Like,
but see, that's what the thing. But Mississippi JUCOs, some of the biggest JUCOs in America. And I went to the biggest school.
You're right.
Which you got to realize, when I went there, we were three-peated. I three-peated there. Grady Jackson and all them, Big Grady that played in the league. Like 7 of us made it to the NFL from that one team.
Yeah, see, JUCOs wasn't even in Florida.
Yeah, so
we know
all the
we had to
Florida
go
guys
either
have to come to
California
Mississippi.
or Mississippi.
Right.
And I remember
most people was coming to Mississippi to recruit out the junior college back then.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
That's wild.
You're absolutely right.
That's wild. Okay, so that's college. Y'all were good players in college. Doug, you can start this off. How was it going from college to professional football? Because you didn't go to the NFL right away. Did you go to a different league, or were you
No, I can't. I went straight to
Tampa Bay?
Tampa, right.
Tampa Bay, and then talk us through your journey a little bit, real quick.
Well, Tampa Bay, I was the 17th pick in the first round, which actually, like talking to June Jones all the time, he said you should have been the number 1 pick. Tampa had the number 1 pick that year, but they knew black quarterback coming into the NFL.
I could trade down.
1978, I can trade him. He'll still be there.
Yeah.
And we made a trade with Houston, and Houston picked Earl Campbell. And that same year, Earl Campbell won the Heisman. I finished 4th.
You finished 4th in the Heisman?
So Earl Campbell went number 1 overall.
Yes.
To Houston. Damn.
Yeah, I finished 4th in the Heisman.
That's higher than Fred.
Huh?
That's higher than Fred.
I finished 9th.
You did?
I was 5.
No, that's not.
did.
I was
That's
7. I was 7 in the Heisman race.
Hey, just a guy. you did your homework on them. I'm telling you now. Swoop for Heisman, baby.
No, but I went to Tampa and see, a lot of people don't know this. See, I knew Joe Gibbs from before everybody up here.
Oh, really?
Joe Gibbs
He
was
was
the
in-
running back coach
yeah.
at Tampa when I got drafted.
Yeah.
And I only one coach in the National Football League come to see me in Grambling.
It was him?
Joe Gibbs.
No kidding.
Spent 2 days,
bro.
Spent 2 days with me in Monroe, Louisiana.
How was that?
Damn,
Good.
Coach
I was a
Gibbs.
student teaching, and Coach Gibbs sat in the back of the room every 2 days. And
You were
I-
student teaching?
Yeah.
What class were you teaching?
PE.
Really?
Physical education.
But I bet you.
Come on, it's Doug Williams.
I bet you that would have been pretty cool though. If I'm a coach.
No,
And
the
I go-
kids, let me tell you, the kids, I had a ball.
Yeah.
And Coach Robinson's son was the coach up there. I was up under him.
Yeah.
So, Coach Gibbs came, spent 2 days there, and when the kids left the classroom, him and I sat and we talked about football. We wasn't talking about his offense. We talked about my offense. He wanted to know how much did I know about what we was doing.
Yeah.
How'd that interview go?
Real well. We had a
Were
great time.
you pretty locked in with your offense?
Oh, yeah, I knew. I could go to sleep and talk about the wing team.
But that was running Coach Gibbs one. That's before he went with Eric Coryell and learned all the stuff in San Diego, right?
And when I got drafted in Tampa, Kenny Herock was the general manager. Coach Gibbs came back and told Coach McKay that if we want a franchise quarterback, we got to draft the kid from Grambling. And when I got there, my first day, I was a week late because of negotiation. Still didn't get no more money. But anyway. So my first day of practice, Bill Nelson, bless his soul, was the quarterback coach. And I did something wrong. And he screamed to the top of his voice. And Coach Gibbs, I looked down there and Coach Gibbs was jogging down. He was, at that time, he could run a little bit.
Yeah.
He was running down the field, and he got face to face with Bill Nelson. He told him, he said, don't holler at him no more. He
Really?
just got here, don't holler at him no more.
Wow.
And from that day on, every day, tour days, we had real tour days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had real tour days. And after tour days, when they go to meeting, I went home with Coach Gibbs every night.
Really?
Playbook.
So he had your back.
Yeah,
Like totally.
I said at Coach Gibbs' table with his wife Pat, JD and Coy, bless their soul. We ate, and they went to bed. Coach Gibbs and I sat there and we went through the playbook, and he brought me back to the hotel.
How was the offense in Tampa Bay compared to what you're running at Grambling? Like
Totally different.
Like totally. I'm sure it was like
totally
Another
different.
language, huh?
Totally different. You know, we was so basic in Tampa. I never took a shotgun snap in my whole life.
Really?
Because you've been on the center the whole
I
time.
don't know what a shotgun is like.
Yeah.
You know, and in Tampa, we were straight, you know, tight end, Z, X,
yeah.
fullback, tailback.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. Might have moved to Z every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
John McKay was pitch right, pitch left, blast up the middle.
Yeah.
And if it's third and Dougie, you got to find a way to get it to Jimmy Giles.
Yeah.
No, we was basic. You know, it was either 5-step or 7-step drop.
Yeah.
Now that you can sit back and look at that Tampa team, what's the talent level on that team? Did y'all not have a
You know, from a receiver, now Jimmy Giles to me is a Hall of Fame tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy was about 250, ran about a 4.6, 4.55. Man, could catch a BB in the dark. My wideouts, I had wideouts.
You got the faceless men out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they had Kevin House. When we got Kevin House, all he can do is run a post or fly.
Yeah. Couldn't stop.
Couldn't come out of the middle. Too Tall Jones from Pittsburgh, or Garden Jones. You know, he probably was the toughest guy we had across the middle, but he was 4.65 at best. Larry Mucker probably was 4.7. And Morris Owens probably was a 4.65.
Oh, y'all needed Jesus, Doug.
John McKay was probably all day.
Yeah.
It took him all day to get across the middle. So the coach's son was a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now we had Ricky Bell.
Oh, now I remember Ricky
running back.
Bell.
Now Ricky could run. The year we went to the championship game against the Rams, Ricky ran for like 1,263 yards.
Yeah.
Probably 500 of them was at the contact.
Yeah.
But now, you know, we had a great defense now.
Yeah.
We had a defense, you know, with the Dewey boy, Dewey Selman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Leroy Selman. Leroy Selman, to be honest with you, is in the Hall of Fame. And I do think we did him an unjust by playing a 3-man front.
Mm-hmm.
If he had been a 4-man front, he'd have been a wrecking crew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And then Tana, obviously Jets, right?
Yeah.
Just, I mean you've told your story a bunch about how you got up there, got hurt, and all that kind of stuff. But like, what was that process like? And then
Going?
Yeah. Because you weren't stoked about it, right? You were kind of upset about it.
I was never upset to be drafted.
Yeah.
Just like going to New York. Like I told you, once I saw Western Michigan snow, and then knowing New York was going. Yeah, I think
but it snows here though too, and you were happy to come here.
Tell the truth,
But it's a
Tanner. You
different
said
kind of-
New York was dirty.
It's a different kind of snow. But no, I'm gonna get to that. New York was so dreary to me. Like it just had like a overcast that never suited me well. You know what I mean? I'm an energy person.
Yeah.
Like I meet people to this day. If I can that energy wrong, I won't even. How you doing? And keep it moving. I stay away from always. I'm always been an energy guy.
What pick were you?
First round, 16th pick.
17th, Doug, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is the craziest part about it. So you know, like I say, what I probably haven't shared with people. I was a 49er fan growing up because of Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. Them two there was, you know, that's another guy who drove me to be great. I remember I was 4'9" in 9th grade. 5'1" or something like that. I'm gonna just say 5'1", 5'2".
You were 5'1"
short
in
as hell.
ninth grade? Damn.
And guys used to be like, "Boy, you ain't playing no football." And I'm like, man, I'm faster than Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? I just say stuff like that to kind of like, and they like, boy, okay, boy. And then so like my homeboys in the neighborhood, they were like, go deep, Tanner. Remember Joe Montana and Jerry right there, throw it to me deep. So fast forward, I get drafted, first round 16 pick. Guess what draft pick Jerry Rice was? First round 16 pick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? All this stuff lines up.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there saying like, damn, I've been talking that I'm going to be Jerry Rice one day. And this is the closest I got to Jerry Rice by being drafted in his same slot. I ain't going to be Jerry Rice because I ain't tall enough. And at the same time, the numbers he put up, it just was probably one of them things that, hey, man, you can try.
As long as you try.
Yeah. But New York, man, I embraced it. It kind of started off bumpy. That made me feel like, see, here go my superstition coming in now. Like, damn, you know, I can't make it to a damn preseason game without getting hurt. Hurt my knee in fan appreciation night. But like I said before, through my whole journey, I had so many ups, downs, roadblocks. You know what I mean? I had so much that I dealt with. It was just another day in my life. You know what I mean? I looked at this neat thing like, okay, you know, New York wanted to carve me up real quick. I had a meniscus tear, lateral meniscus tear. Yeah. They wanted to shave me, and they said, hey, you'll be back in 4 weeks. And my agent was like, can we get a second opinion? So my agent, you know, Drew Rosenhaus, you know, he's that guy. And he said, tell them, let's go back to Miami to the people that took care of y'all down there. And we went back to Miami. I came back with surgery.
Yeah, I remember.
And I think that started the bumpy road even more bumpier with the
New
team
York.
because now they like,
he doing stuff himself.
But at the same time, if you look at the decision I made, it was a better decision for my career, not for what they wanted to do because I'm their first round draft pick. But when I look back at that time, man, it was just something that molded me a little more, built me up a little more to be the guy who I became.
Made you callous.
When I got here, bingo. You know, when I got here, I was a new man because I had been through the fire and I overcame all the mischief and all the stuff that was presented to me. I got through it and still was one of the guys that they hated to see leave. You know what I mean? It's one thing of people saying, you got traded, you wasn't wanted. Yeah. It was, man, when I left through New York, when I left from New York, true story, I'm riding my Hummer. I go through the turnpike. I ain't have no coins. So I blast through that. Police pick me up. Bloop, bloop, pull me over. He say, look at you, Moss. You can't even pay when you leave. And he tell me, say, man, you know what, man? We hate to see you go, man. You was one of our guys, man. Bro, if you look at the first year was the only bumper year for me.
Yeah, everything.
My first year I played, my second season, first year I played, 2002, 2003, 2004. I put up numbers. I was an all-pro as a punt returner my first year playing. I was a Pro Bowl alternate my first year as a receiver. And then my last year, we got to the second round playoffs where I put up numbers in both of those playoff games. So it's just like one of those things, man. To see this guy go, that's not a good thing for that team, but it was the best thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then, Fred, you thought you were going to be first round pick too, right?
Oh, yeah. I messed it up myself on one of them wild nights on campus.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard
That's
story.
how it happened. The thing about me is I left Mississippi State just on fire. Like, I was dead boy. Like, it wasn't no question. Like, me and Tanner did everything from our junior year on as the top players in college football. I think the wildest thing with me was I was so happy because I thought I was actually, because I had talked to the Seattle Seahawks most of the time, which had the 18th pick. I thought I was going to Seattle. I ended up coming to a different Washington. So when I got here, my guy, who I had already been talking to, Deion Sanders, who I hadn't patterned my whole life afterward. So now I'm like, it hit me the next day after the draft. You know, you full of euphoria that first night. Like, I'm in the league. That's all that matters. But then I thought for a second, like, my God, I'm either going to have to try to take my idol job, Darryl Green, Champ Bailey. This might not work out. so I'll never forget coming in, you know, like we come in a week later, they introduce everybody to the team, and I'm just sitting in my meeting room, and I'm looking around like, why did they waste this draft pick? Like, why? And I went and talked to Martin Schottenheimer, who was my coach that drafted. He like, boy, just chill. Just go in there and soak up everything you can from the older guys. It gonna work his own self out. So we 3 weeks into, you know, little mini camps and stuff, and prime time ain't feeling Marty Schottenheimer. I'm not doing it. I like, what you mean? He like, I'm not playing for him. I like, well, what you gonna do? He like, I'm leaving. I like, you can't just leave. He like, nah, I'm gonna retire.
Why do you want to leave? Was the practice too hard, or?
You see, you can't get these two guys at the peak of their career, and you bring in a DB guru like Schottenheimer who like to mold people, and he looking at me and Champ like, look at these youngsters. I can mold him into whoever I want to. Now, these two older dogs, they going to do stuff the way that they always did it. So Prime was like, you know what? I'm leaving. Here, come on. He gave me his locker. He gave me 21. People never knew. I wore 23 for my first 3 weeks here. Wow. I wore the Michael Jordan. Yeah. All right. He gave me 21. He gave me literally everything. So that day, I felt like I was ordained. I was ordained. Like, I seen a little light come over to the locker room and everything. I'm like, this gonna be okay. Like, you know, I am loving it. So once thing got to going on and training camp got to going, and you know, now I'm going to start on the team. It's me and Champ. And Darryl Green is the third cornerback. Right. But I'll never forget this, though. Because Brian used to catch me I study film, but I'm not studying myself. I'm studying him and D Green and Champ. And he was like, dude, I'm going to tell you something. You could probably study me and Champ and pick up some habits, but only D Green can D Green.
You said that before.
Yeah, like you cannot. Don't try to mimic him because he don't play like nobody else. He plays like himself.
Yeah.
So mine was full of, I was so happy, but then I got humble because I'm like, I might not even start here. Then it all broke itself and worked itself out. So I thought everything happened the way it should have happened.
Did you guys have like a welcome to the NFL moment where you were like, oh, I'm here, and like it's a little bit shocking, Doug, when you got in?
My first game when Gary Jeter up at the Giants slammed me on the sideline and separated my shoulder.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
That was my first game. I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Hello.
I didn't know. Trying to be tough. I got up, went to the huddle, called the play, went to the line of scrimmage, and when I moved my arm, it was so much pain I fell to the ground.
Really?
And Coach McKay said, "Lord, somebody don't shot him."
Was it just an AC sprain?
I missed one game.
Dude, those are rough.
Yeah, them things hurt.
They hurt real bad. So that was the moment. Huh?
The physicality.
I'm in the league.
Yeah. How about you, Tanner?
It was kind of tough.
Was that when Fletcher caught you that one time?
No, that wasn't a welcome because I was playing.
Hurt right there.
Yeah, I was playing pretty good football by that time, but it was just rough for me to even gauge my moment.
You're welcome to the NFL
because
moment.
I feel like even the year when I got hurt, I didn't play until week 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about it. You got 4 games left. If that. And I literally wasn't playing. I was hurt still. Like my knee wasn't right. They forced me out there. I go out there. I blow my quad the next day because my knee ain't right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like my first year was like they just ball this paper up and throw it in the trash. Like here you got your first round draft pick looks nothing like the guy who you drafted. And I can say the next year was kind of like my welcome to the league. And it wasn't on nothing that was really bad that happened. It was just how I was able to overcome all that and become a all pro. I was all pro as a punt returner. First team all pro as a punt returner. And I ran back 2 punts, back to back. One game I should have had 2. I let they had this big old rugby kicker for San Diego. I forgot his name. I break through everything, and I'm like, just put your foot in the ground, Tanner. But he was sitting there, he was trying his best to make sure that I didn't have what side to go. And when I finally wanted to put my foot in the ground, I spun him around, and he just, for dear life, and just threw his hand up and caught me by the damn collar.
Oh, really?
And that saved my third punt return that year. And I'm like, this mother, you know what I mean? But like to me, that was like, Tanner, you here. You know what I mean? Like, here go the guy who they wanted. Here go the guy running these punts back.
Right.
And, what folks fail to realize is, too, the Jets really didn't pick me to be their number 1 receiver. They picked me to be a punt returner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they was pissed that when I started being the number 1 receiver, I started saying, hey,
I don't want to return.
Screw that punt return stuff.
Yeah.
And, so they was more upset with me as a punt returner than they was as anything else because they was like, bro, I didn't know this. I'm like, but why would you want me to be out here catching punts when I'm the guy that you want to go deep and want to send across the middle? You know what I'm saying? I never had one of them things. Another thing, too, that stood out to me that was rare. All my life leading to the NFL, I was, people told me, you'll be a guy in the slot if you make it. If you make it, you're too small. You'll be a guy in the slot. I didn't touch the slot until my 10th year. Playing football.
That's crazy.
Playing pro football.
Your journey as a receiver is just always kind of mind-blowing to me because you were such a trendsetter. You and like Steve Smith, for the smaller guys to come out and be as explosive as dynamic you were was really cool. So, Fred, it sounds like your welcome to the NFL moment was when you met your idol. Is that true? Or was there another time where you got routed up?
My whole locker room was star-studded. I had the old folks home of Ashburn in here. I had Bruce Smith. My first team had 5 number 1 picks on it. Number 1 picks of the draft. And I had a lot of dudes on it, but mine probably was, I got an interception early in my rookie year against the Cowboys, and I'm running down the sideline. And bless his soul, Larry Allen just passed away, and he just came out of nowhere. And Larry Allen hit me in my ear hole, and I was like, you know what? I might need to be a lawyer. Listen to me. 1, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
2, I was like, this dude is because I remember Bruce telling me before the game, hey, Smoke, watch all our defensive linemen get that Larry Allen flu. I was like, what is Larry Allen flu? Watch they don't play. And I was like, what is he talking about? And when I got in that game and watched Larry Allen attacking, he was the first offensive line I seen when this ball was snapped. He was literally attacking our defensive lineman and manhandling them, kicking them out the club. And when he got hold of me after that interception, I got up, and they got that hole. They had the hole in the stadium at the time. I was like, God bless America. Because I thought the man was going to take me out. Yeah. And I was like, this cannot be an offensive lineman running like this. Yeah. And I was like, the NFL is different. That's when I knew it's a different beast when the fat boys are running like that.
Yeah, for me it was when my first game in Dallas that I was playing a little bit, and DeMarcus Ware just put his hand on me. Have I told you this story before?
No, please tell me. I like to see you get humiliated.
I was out there and I was like, it's DeMarcus Ware. It's loud in Dallas. It's a new stadium, and like you got to like all these different tricks to see the ball and like looking through people's legs. And I turned out to go block him, and it was just like someone took a baseball bat and just stabbed it in my chest and kept me in arm's length, and I could not reach him.
Yeah, he had that.
I was like grabbing his bicep, and I was like, oh no. And he just walked me right back with his arm straight, threw me over a pile. And I remember looking up at that big Jumbotron being like, this is the first play of the game. Like, I
got 4 quarters.
I got to figure something out. I'm about to get cut on Monday. So that was my welcome to the NFL moment. When I realized, like, man, these dudes are just like.
They're different.
They're built different, man.
They're different, man.
So, Doug, after Tampa, you go where? What's your story there? How'd you get to Washington? I feel like I should know this.
I went 5 years in Tampa, and then in '83 I didn't play not one down of football.
Really?
Whole year, missed the whole year.
Injury or just?
No, it's contract.
Oh.
Back then we didn't have free agent.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
We didn't have free agent.
Yeah.
See, if somebody else had signed me, they would have had to give up 2 number 1 picks.
Yeah.
Because you were a number 1 pick.
No, because I was a free agent. That was the rule.
Yeah.
Right, I see. You had to give up draft capital.
Right. So I went and played 2 years in the USFL, played with the Oklahoma Outlaws and the Arizona Outlaws.
How was that?
You know what? That was some talent. We wasn't the most talented team, like the Philadelphia Stars and the Michigan Panthers. They had all the talent. They had a lot of guys. Like Reggie White, I played against the Reggie Whites and all those guys in the USFL. The USFL had a lot of talent, but not the backups.
Yeah, I see.
That's when you lost, the backup.
Yeah.
And the team I had, we had we had a bunch of old folks that coming from other teams from the NFL coming in to play, and a couple of young linemen. They had one line, Alvin Powell, I'll never forget, from Winston-Salem State was probably the best, and Carl Roberts from Jackson State was probably the 2 best linemen I played with.
Yeah.
Got beat up a lot for 2 years. And when,
do you think it was helpful for your development, or was it?
It wasn't about development with me, because I had been playing. I was a starter for 5 years, and it was just the opportunity to play again.
I see. Okay.
And the USFL offered me that opportunity.
How was the money?
The money was good.
Oh,
the money
makes it easy
because they were trying to compete with the NFL at the time.
Yeah,
they were throwing big checks out there.
So the money was good, but I remember one day in Arizona, I went to my own. My own was probably a year younger than me. His dad had bought the team for him, William Tatum. And I told him, I said, man, you know what? I went to a mall in Arizona, to be honest with you. And I walked the mall in Arizona out in Chandler somewhere. And it was I saw one black guy in the whole mall. Mm-hmm. So I went to him. He was by the pool at the hotel. And I told him, I say, Bill, man, look, just let me go. I don't want to play no more. And plus, I had a problem with the coach who wanted to start somebody else, because he told coach out in I can't think his name, Arizona State, used to be the Arizona State coach for a long time. He just passed away not long ago. But he told him I couldn't play. Roger Theda was the quarterback coach. I told him, I said, hey, he said I can't play, so let me go.
Yeah.
So he said, no, man, we're not going to let you go. He said, look at this weather. Look at the sunshine, laying by the pool. He said, just lay back, man, and get a tan. And I looked at him, I say, Bill, do I look like I need a tan?
I was born with a tan.
Yeah. And he just started laughing, and then everything worked out. I came back and started playing, and Roger Theda, actually, when we won the Super Bowl here, he was the first coach to call me and told me that, he was wrong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But and after that, when it folded, Joe Gibbs called me again.
Yeah.
it just seems like he has such a great relationship with him.
Oh, man, great.
Yeah, still a great relationship.
He called me. He asked me, could Joe Theismann just hurt his ankle the year before. And he asked me, could I come to Washington to be a backup? Jay Schrader was going to be the starter. And I told Coach, I said, Coach, I can be any up you want because I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So I came in 86, threw one pass in 86, and I was the backup. Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
The rest
is history. So given all of that wealth of experience and knowledge, all the stories you guys just shared, we got all these rookies coming in. They're going through their first OTAs, their first season coming up. Is there any advice you would give them? You say, man, I got this piece of advice back in the day and I wish I would have had it and I want to give it to you now.
It's crazy because I got so much from older guys, and I was one of those guys that played on the team with a bunch of veterans. One of the things that I would say that I didn't do initially, and I had to get hurt, I had to go through a lot of stuff I went through to understand it, is let it slow down, like soak it up.
Yeah.
You know, I never sat still and said, okay, I'm here. I never embraced it as a guy that had to just say, okay, I tried to come in this thing full speed,
running,
like it was just me coming from college and it's just another day in practice. I never just sat and let it all soak up. I never soaked the moment up. So I would tell them to soak it up and don't be so fast. Like, trust me, like Wayne Corbett used to say stuff to me. Marvin Jones used to say stuff to me. Mo Lewis used to say stuff to me, and I was just, man, I ain't listening to these old heads. But I did listen to Wayne a lot because he's a receiver. So I'm gonna watch the guy who's telling me all this stuff. But when I got through a year or so, I look back at it and I'm like, you know what? They was telling me things that was gonna be beneficial.
Yeah.
So I would just say, listen to these old heads, man. Listen to whatever person that's trying to give you the best advice, and just soak it up, man. Don't think you got to come in here and go so fast and be that guy. It's gonna happen, but it takes time.
Yeah.
You finna get your education in football. Like, that's what I'm gonna tell them right now. Like, cause we all leave college as demand.
Yeah.
And we think we at the top of our game until you actually practice with pros.
Yeah.
Like, so at the end of the day, understand you still got so far to go.
Yeah.
Like, see, most people that out of our draft class that I failed, I think they failed because they thought they had already made it and we hadn't done nothing yet. Your stat line in the league today, you get here 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Until you build that resume slowly, until you understand this game. And Tanner said something. Until this game slow down for you, you will never be able to reach your peak.
Yeah. Doug, what you got?
I think the same thing, basically. They got to understand that there was people that played the game before them and played it well.
Right.
And just because you're here don't mean that you made it.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter whether you was first round or you was seventh round, you still got to learn how to play the game. And I think the most important thing is get in the playbook, get your mind in it. Don't worry about all the things out there. The money is a little different now.
Yeah,
a lot of guys think they got the money, they can do whatever they want to do and forget about the playbook.
Right, yeah.
And that's where they lose it at. And I think that's the most important thing is to know everything that you're supposed to know about your position.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the guy next to you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be working together.
100%. Yeah, and I would just reiterate that. It's just the professionalism. Like you're a professional football player for a reason.
Right.
Like, the nightlife, the girls, the women, the cars, all that stuff's going to be there. Like, this is here for a short period of time. So take care of business while you can take care of it. Doug, thank you so much for joining us. And I can't wait to listen to that Hales Tales podcast, right? We got you on there. We got Dexter Manley stories. We got Joe Gibbs stuff. We got the dentist that did your root canal. He talks on there. Yeah.
Dr. Rudolph.
Yeah, gives the whole inside information on there.
Wow.
So that comes out the first week of July. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and make sure you don't miss that because that's excellent stuff. And that's it.
Jackson State.